last year. Just going into this year, how is the momentum carried over?
Well, we've had a lot of positive momentum. We got a lot of great guys coming back from that may have made that run last year to lower state. We have 23 seniors, and so a lot of guys that's been in some big battles, some big games, and big atmospheres. And so we're going to lean on those guys to be leaders for us with that experience here coming into the season. And it's not only those guys with experience, but it's kind of that expectation now here is that Gilbert football is winning football, and that's the expectation. And our JV team had a great year last year. They went undefeated, and so all that stuff just builds on itself as part of building a program. It's where our program's at right now, and so each class, each team always wants to be the one to maybe take it a step further.
How important was it last year, considering that you had a young group and they had so much success that they did, and also getting that win over Dillon, which that senior class the year before wasn't able to?
Yeah. Oh, that was huge. I mean, that's one of your that was a signature win for our football program over Dillon. Dillon had been a lower state champion for like 10 years in a row, so it was the first time they'd been knocked out of the playoffs in lower state in a long time, and of course they had knocked us out a couple times, so that was a hump to get over, and I think all that does is give our guys confidence now that that they can play with anybody and that kind of thing. And of course, we got beat pretty good by Camden the next week, but our guys, they're still hungry, and they still, we believe we can play with anybody, and want to keep getting better and keep pushing forward.
Talked about making those steps in the program in terms of with the win over Dillon and then get into the lower state final, which seems that's really seem like the only block for this program, and that goes back to your days.
That's right. That's right. We've that's been as far as Gilbert football has been. Back when I played, we made some runs to the lower state championship in the early '90s, and and it had been a long time, obviously, or since that time until last year that we had been back to it. Something that Gilbert football hasn't done is make it to a state championship. So that's huge, huge thing for our guys to work towards. They know that, they realize that. And every group we have always wants to be the ones that do that.
Seem like talking with a lot of coaches around here.
Hold on, Mr. Green. Hey guys, I'm in.
Stuff from where I was, but I guess the word has been basically they want to practice. A lot of coaches have told me they want to be practicing up until right around Thanksgiving. Is that sort of the same motivation here?
Absolutely. That's everywhere I've been. That's big in high school football is to be able to practice on Thanksgiving. I think if your program's practicing on Thanksgiving, and that's the hallmark of a great season. No matter what happens at that point, there's only a few teams left to get to do that. So it definitely means that you're one of the best in the state when you're practicing on Thanksgiving weekend or practicing on Thanksgiving and playing on Thanksgiving weekend, and that's certainly where we want to be again this year.
Is there a difference approach of this year in terms of protocols and having to deal with some of the challenges you had to deal with in terms of like rescheduling games and postponements as compared to last year?
Well, so far it's a little different, but I'll be honest, we're getting a little bit worried here with some of the stuff we're seeing in the news and that kind of thing. There's for instance, we're not required to wear masks now, and and there's a lot of we're not screening athletes in right now, and so there's definitely some differences there. We were shaking, we scrimmaged Newberry yesterday, and we were able to shake their hands after the scrimmage, which was a good thing, good sportsmanship. That was something we didn't get to do last year, but so some of those little things have come back, but then. Everything's fluid. If we hadn't learned anything in the last year, is that stuff can change from day to day and week to week, and and so numbers start spiking and stuff like that, and there may be some things we have to adjust and change to try to be safe, make sure our guys are safe, make sure we have a season, because that's what's most important. Is we want these guys to be able to get to play, especially these seniors, have that opportunity to play their senior year.
How important is it that you have your schedule set up that you're able to get the region games in?
Well, that's the thing that some folks have been talking about. We got a traditional schedule set up this year with non-region first and region last, and there's not a lot of wiggle room right there. I think if we just held back with playoffs a week or two, that might give some wiggle room. But also, maybe things calm down from these numbers in a week or two, and things are look a little better. But it's just hard to say. And again, I think what all of us are going to have to be is flexible, and there might have to be a possibility of some moving things around and adjusting things just to make things work.
Of course, you talked about going into the season with 23 seniors, but you also lose two key players from last year's team,
Yeah.
particularly Colt Mason in the backfield and Isaiah Whiteside.
Yeah.
Who are going to be able to fill those shoes?
Well, at quarterback, we got Chance Jennings, and he's been looking real good here in this summer and our preseason practice here and scrimmages. Chance played wide receiver for us last year. He's a really fast kid with a strong arm. So we're going to be he's going to do a great job for us. We got all the confidence in the world in him leading our offense there. And then running back right now, we got three guys, that we looking at. There's Josh Black, who's a senior, who's been a great kid that's been in our program and does a lot of good things, knows our offense. We got Jaden Allen Hendricks, who's just a sophomore. He got some big carries for us down the stretch, relieving Colton last year. Big back, even bigger than Colton was. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 230, 235, hard runner. And then we also had a transfer come in, Elias Graham Woodbury, and he's really looked good. He's got an extra gear maybe that our other two backs don't have as far as speed. And so we're going to look at all three of them. Right now, we're starting off all of them to go get some looks, so it might not be a Colton Mason that's carrying the ball 35 times a game, but all those guys are going to get a lot of carries and a lot of looks. And if one of them kind of steps forward there and takes the spot, then they're the one that's going to get the majority of the carries, the old hot hand, if you will.
Is the line the strength of the team?
Our line, we did lose a few linemen. Blake Cook returns for us at right tackle, and he's going to be a very good one for us. What we do have coming back, though, is both our tight ends, which were very important to where we were blocking folks and being in front of Colton Mason always at the point of attack, and that was Chas Leaphart and Alex Young. Both of those are big kids. They're both Gray's about 6'4", 220. Alex is about 6'3", 215, and not a lot of high schools have tight end type bodies like those two, and they're both very physical. So those kind of no joke, those guys will be at the point of attack for us almost all the time on offense.
Defensive line.
Yep, we got those guys coming back. Our two interior guys with a lot of experience, Southern Taylor and Charlie Swells. Those guys will be 3-year starters for us. They're not the tallest, but they are very strong and stout. They're both about 5'10", 5'11", 240, and two of the strongest guys on our team. And they also, like I said, got that savvy and experience from being. They'll be 3-year starters now at our defensive tackle spots.
And I guess when it comes to targets for Chance, how do your wideouts look?
Well, we got Gage Gunner coming back. He was one of our top receivers last year. Certainly our best big play guy. Caught a lot of balls down the field for us last year. So we're excited about what Gage can do out there at receiver. Of course, we have both our tight ends. Both have good hands. Will be a threat in the passing game. And then we also have Brady Edwards, who's a very good route runner for us, and Kendrick Mitchell, who played some for us last year at running back. We've moved him out to wide receiver, and Kendrick is one of those kids that can take the top off of it, has a lot of speed.
And your linebackers in secondary?
Yeah, but linebacker, our middle linebacker is going to be Josh Gartman. He's a senior and got a lot of experience as well, physical player for us. Outside we got Neil Bastian, who's another guy that had a big year for us, a senior last year. Had a bunch of sacks and stuff coming off the edge. He's a strong, physical kid. And then our secondary is pretty much all intact. And that's led by Harley Boatwright at safety, who was our leading tackler on defense. Great tackler for us and just fierce competitor. And then at corner, we got Jason Tolan returning, who's probably our top corner, being that he's 6'1", 6'2", and very long. He's got a lot of those attributes that those schools like at that position. And then, of course, Blaine McFarland and Jordan Smith, both returning players from last year that saw a lot of action. So feel good about the experience back there.
What did y'all learn from the Camden game that y'all hope to carry over into this year?
Well, I think that a lot of time, not taking anything away from Camden because they beat us clearly, but I think some of our guys thought when we beat Dillon maybe that we got it made, and and it's not like that in a game of football. Every week you got to be able to bring it every week to advance, especially at that level. So we took a big step beating Dillon, but the job wasn't done, the job wasn't finished, and so I think that's the biggest thing our guys need to take away, and that we got to still continue, no matter how big and strong and fast we think we are. There's always somebody else that might be bigger, stronger, faster, and that we got to just keep working. That's why you work every day and do what you do.
Looking at the region itself, it's safe to say it is probably expected to be even more competitive. You have Brooklyn Casey, who also has several people back and been looking strong in the preseason. You have Storm Thurman that's still there, and then you have the unpredictability when it comes to Orangeburg Wilkinson.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I feel like our region is one of the toughest in the state, and especially lower state 3A football. Us, Brooklyn Casey, and Strom Thurman we've been in the thick of it now. I know this past year, but we've had in years past. It's always come down to games between us three teams, and we know all about both of them. They know all about us, and they're always great games and tough games, and they're very good football programs, and they're going to be tough every year. Got some great players, and they coach them up, and there's definitely going to be challenges. And OW, Coach Crosby down there has done a great job, I think, with those guys. That was one of the toughest games we played last year was at OW right off the bat. Those guys are really good on defense, and they're hard to move the ball and score on. Fox Creek is, they have a new coach down there. I think they had some talent for sure on that program, and, a new coach coming from Georgia. I think he had some success over there in Georgia, so it'll be interesting to see where he has those guys. So I feel like we got a tough region for sure.
I guess with a region like that, it's safe to say that'll make you even more playoff ready.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that definitely pays dividends going into the playoffs to have that experience against fast teams, strong teams, well-coached teams. You need to see that during the course of the season, because that's certainly what you will get